It is some serious information that we want to share with you, but it is important that you know about this and that you have a good understanding of the expectations of you and your classmates as well. So we call it Take Care of Yourself and Each Other. It's what we call this presentation. And in other words, we're going to talk Title IX. So this is the Title IX CEP that I'm sure you've been talking about in your CEP classes forever. This is it. So myself and Tyrell Philson will be doing this presentation with you, and hopefully you'll get some good information through this presentation. So why exactly are we doing this? A number of reasons. Of course, when you come into University, we want you to have the best experience possible on this campus. We want you to have a good social experience, spiritual experience, educational experience. We want the total package. So that's one of the reasons. Also, one of the things we want this experience to be is to be free from any kind of sexual harassment, any violence. And of course, we want to be responsible as an institution to protect all of you from anything like that and try to prevent that from happening. Obviously, the federal government our Title IX compliance is something our federal government strongly encourages us to do. And of course, you have the Haven training that we provide, online training here, and this is a supplement to that. But all in all, we know that this is a challenging time for you. You're transitioning into your college experience, and there may be difficulties, the academic side, as well as just social interactions and learning how to get along with people that may be different from you. But it should not be a time where you have to deal with anything like sexual harassment or violence from anybody on this campus. So we want to make sure that we put things in place and, of course, educate you to make sure that you take care of yourself and that you also take care of those around you. So, all right, what exactly is Title IX? And as I said, it's a federal law. It protects people from discrimination based on sex and educational programs and activities. Obviously, educational institutions receive federal funding. That's why the federal government has an interest in making sure that we follow this requirement, this law. It sets guidelines for us, how we're to handle sexual, investigations of sexual violence that may occur on campus. And as I mentioned, since we receive federal funds, if we do not follow what the federal government asks us to do, then we can be in jeopardy of losing those federal funds. So it's a civil rights law, and as I said, it protects from discrimination based on sex. Okay, so what happens if a student is harassed or assaulted on campus? Our Anderson University employees are mandatory reporters, meaning that if a student, someone experiences some type of sexual harassment or assault, that you can tell an employee, an Anderson University employee, and they are required to report that. So just please know that that is the case, and of course, ultimately we want to make sure that we stop whatever is going on, that we prevent it from happening again, and that we remedy whatever that situation is. So that's what we are required to do and want to do for everyone's safety, to protect you. In addition to those that I mentioned, the university employees that are mandatory reporters, there are also some that are confidential reporters. And those are individuals on campus. In the event that you have experienced some type of assault or harassment and you don't want to make an official report, we have what's called confidential reporters or resources that you can tell. They can give you guidance, they can tell you what your options are, what you can do, but they are not required to report it. Now they can facilitate, if you decide that you do want to make an official report, then they can facilitate that happening. But they are confidential resources for that reason, because they keep what you share with them in confidence. So we do have members of our faculty and staff that fall in that category. As you can see, our Director of Counseling, Nurses, and Thrive Wellness Center, as well as some of our campus ministry folks as well, are confidential resources. All right, so as we talk about this, just to give you a heads up, we're going to be talking about some things that may be uncomfortable for some of you. And we also want you to understand, you know, that this is a Christian institution, but we also understand that as a result of that, there are some things that we don't want to happen on our campus, really any campus, but we do need to talk about alcohol and drug use, also consensual and non-consensual sexual activity on campus. We know as an institution that's not something we promote, but we do know that it's our obligation, our responsibility to talk about those things as it relates to you as students on our campus. So just to let you know, we may be talking about some things that may be a little uncomfortable. All right, also, to understand consensual and non-consensual is usually about, did the person agree with what happened? Oh, did I go? Is that the right one? Yes, it is. And consensual, I think everybody, you're all college students, so you know what consensual means. It means that it is an agreement with both parties. So first of all, that's something that we need to understand, if something is consensual or if it's not, and what classifies something as non-consensual. When you'll see that those items listed there, a person may be under the influence of alcohol or drugs, they may be impaired, that they cannot give consent, they cannot agree to whatever the activity is. There may be a disability that also prevents a person from agreeing to a certain activity. A person may be asleep, and you think asleep? Yeah, somebody could be asleep, could be taken advantage of in a situation like that. As well as coercion, a person could be coerced or forced into doing something against their will, so they cannot give consent. And to reiterate, no one has the right to expect you to do or cause you to do anything that you do not fully and willfully consent to. Once again, going back to what we were saying, you must give consent to whatever activity because it is not anyone's right to take advantage of you in that way unless you give full consent or you're willing to do so. So keep that in mind. That is a key. All right, and just so you'll know who works in that area, I serve, as I said, as a Title IX administrator on campus. So if you do experience or need to report something, you are welcome to come and report it to me. My office is on the 3rd floor of the Merit building, the administration building. But we also have a number of other deputy administrators that work with us that can also take an intake if something has happened, if someone has been harassed or assaulted, that you can also make a report to. And you'll see those listed there. Our Associate Athletic Director, Matt Finley, Bob Hanley, Vice Provost Advising, Dr. Diane King, Dean of Student Success, Dr. Tim McKnight, who's on faculty here, Ms. Martha McMahon, who is Director of Human Resources, Dr. Ryan Neal, our Assistant Provost, and Ms. Ann Demostockley, she's Director of International Programs. All of those individuals serve as deputy administrators, and they work with me and can take intakes if there has been an assault or harassment on campus that we need to investigate. So just keep that in mind, that we are here to make sure, as I said initially, that this campus is a safe place for you, that you know that we care about your health and well-being, and then we want to make sure that you have the best possible experience here at Anderson University. So we're here for you. We're here to be resources for you and help you through this educational journey. So I will now turn things over to Tyrone Filson, who will take the presentation to the next step. Thank you so much.
My name is Tyrone Filson. I'm the Associate Dean of Residence Life. We're going to talk about a little bit, Title IX obviously is a big thing that we want you to know about, and we want you to know your research should something happen. We also want you to talk about more today about what does it look like to help intervene in a situation where something might happen. So that's what we're going to talk more about. We're going to talk about Step Up and what that means, and what does it mean to intervene in a situation where something's happening and someone needs some assistance. So before we go into another section for trigger warnings, there's some videos in here that talk about assault, rape, as well as domestic violence. So if that's a trigger for you or you're sensitive to those images, feel free at any moment, any time to step out. And if you need any additional assistance, see our Dr. Adams or Robin, who was up here earlier, and we'd be happy to set up with the counseling center. So Step Up. It's called Five Steps from Why Do We Help? So the way that I like to think about it on a very small level, who has a friend that always has like good comebacks, always says something, but like, who has a friend like that? Like every time they say something like, oh, they always got a good comeback, I call it a good comeback game. But like me, myself, sometimes I'm not as fast with that. And then like 3 hours later, as I think about it, I come with that great zinger, but it's too late to say it to them because the moment has passed. And so a lot of times with bystander prevention, we see something happening, and then later on, hours later, we think of the things that we could have done to remedy that situation, to help out. And so part of that is thinking of beforehand, what can I do? How do I notice things so that I'm able to really intervene well? So, and what does this mean for you? So the first that we're going to show is about a case in Steubenville where there was an assault at a party, high school party. And this case was built entirely on social media. So people were taking videos, or tweeting about it, Snapchatting about it, putting it on Instagram, but no one stepped in to help that person. And so that's what we talk about when we talk about bystander effect. Is all these people are in this space and could have helped and intervened but didn't. But it's something that we need to think about and talk about. So I'm going to go to a video that has a news story about it.
The world of small town parties and backseat crimes.
Man up, tell me the truth.
Revealing police tapes of the teens who stood by and watched a girl being assaulted and did nothing.
A room full of guys laughing.
Two boys who should have known better.
That picture speaks 1,000 words.
And one 16-year-old girl so drunk, she only found out what really happened to her by seeing it online.
Phone's missing. Everyone missing. It's scary.
Elizabeth Vargas with the most complete picture yet
Nobody tried to stop what was going on.
of what really happened on a night that's still making
At
headlines.
that point, what are you thinking? She must be really drunk.
An exclusive interview with the athlete who's now going to serve time. And the eyewitness accounts you'll only see here of teens incriminating their friend, laughing about a crime. Tonight, an out-of-control party, house by house, drink by drink, car ride by car ride.
Where are the adults? Where are the parents?
After the party's over, here now, Elizabeth Vargas and David Neal.
Good evening. Few had ever heard of Steubenville, Ohio before this, but now the country knows of this town, and tonight this case is still exploding. For the first time right here, you'll see tapes of police interviews that reveal what teenage witnesses saw and heard, some of whom did nothing. In fact, 16 of them still tonight refusing to cooperate with authorities.
But if they're not talking, their cell phones are. And what might be a courtroom first, that case almost entirely pieced together by social media. During the crime, many did not step up to help, but nearly all got out their cell phones and started snapping pictures and tweeting. Over 400,000 pieces of evidence were examined in this case from just 13 cell phones. Teenagers living their lives through a cell phone and ruining any number of lives in the process.
So that's what we're here to talk about. What does it look like if one person would have stepped up and called the police and gotten someone there? So this is what Step Up is about. It's about individual leadership, one person standing up to do the right thing, and share responsibility that we all have to care for one another, which ties directly into our faith. Because this is something that Jesus would do. He taught us to love each other, and in the scripture, do nothing out of selfishness and vacancy, rather in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but the interests of others. But we have to care about each other. We have to be responsible for each other, and please hear me clearly. Because I'm saying we need to care about each other and look after one another, that doesn't mean that we're asking you to put yourself in physical harm. We're going to talk about being an active bystander. Doesn't mean putting yourself in harm. It could just be calling the police. It could be calling someone of authority to remedy a situation. But it's something that, as people of faith, we need to care about our brothers and sisters in Christ, and we need to look out for one another. Here's what we know for sure. A lot of you can think back to either this year or even being in high school where there are opportunities. I can remember times in high school where someone was making fun of my friend, and I didn't want to get made fun of, so I just stayed silent. And so what does it mean for us to stand up and actually stand up for people who need us, who need the help? Because it's about peer-to-peer intervention. A lot of times, we're not talking about just physical harm or harassment. We're talking about just bullying as well. How many times is it a peer-on-peer situation when you see your friend or your acquaintance doing something that's your age and that you don't say anything about? And it's important that you know that you're on the front line of this. There's a lot of things that people can be a lot safer if people step up. To understand the bystander connection, we need to understand the bystander effect. Bystander effect is people are less likely to help when they're in a group rather than when they're alone. And it's kind of one of those things of, there's a statistic, 80% of people who are alone and something happens are likely to intervene, as opposed to 20% of people who are in a group when something's happening, they are 20% likely to intervene. So there's a thing that happens when you're in a group of people that makes you not want to step up. And part of that is diffusion of responsibility. When I study psychology, they talk about this case where there's a big domestic abuse situation happening on a street, and you saw all the lights come up in the neighborhood, people looking outside, but no one intervened, no one came outside. Some people may have called 911, but no one did anything to stop that situation from happening. And it wasn't because they were nervous, they just sincerely believed that somebody else was going to step up and do it. And so that's what the bystander effect really is just everyone thinks someone else is going to step up and do something, and so we choose not to because we think, maybe I'm not the best person to do this. Maybe there's someone more skilled. Maybe there's someone that has the authority to step in, and I don't want to be a part of that. And so part of that is diffusion of responsibility. The next is conformity. What does it mean for me to step into this situation? So like we talked about a little earlier about bullying, what does that mean for me? Should I just stay like a sheep and just go along with the crowd, or is there a personal cost for me in order to step in? And so, but a lot of reasons that people don't step in is because there is a personal cost, and a lot of students aren't willing to pay that, a lot of people aren't willing to pay that, and it's something that we have to think about. What does that look like to really, really step in and step in for someone? And ambiguity. No one wants to walk in on something and think it's something, and then walk up and try to intervene, and they're like, no, we're just talking, like literally, or we're just having a lively discussion. No one wants to be embarrassed that when they try to step in. And so the ambiguity of the situation, a lot of times will stop us from intervening because we don't know if we're really seeing the signs that is necessary. One time that was ambiguous for me, that turned out to be a situation was, I had just moved here about 5 or 6 years ago. I went to Walmart, did some food, and realized I left something in my car. Turned back around, I walked into my car, and my door's open in my car, but it's a passenger door, and I was by myself. But you know how it's just you're like, surely that's not my car, right? Like, it's somebody else's car that looks just like mine. So I'm like slowly walking up to my car, and I'm like, that's not my car. And then like, I see my age tag, and I was like, oh, that's my car. Wait, somebody's in my car. And then you like thinking like the random thing, like, maybe it's a friend that just stopped by. No, some random person was sitting in my car, just stealing from me. But it started as an ambiguous situation, like, oh, I'm sure somebody else, here's something else. But now someone was stealing from my car, and I had to step up and tell them to quit stealing my things. They did, by the way, stop stealing my things. The next one is obedience to authority. Sometimes, this is really big when we talk about college campuses and hazing, where there's some students in authority that are telling other students to do things, even if they're wrong, but they're so scared of that authority figure that it makes them do something that they wouldn't normally do or to not step in. So there's a big experiment by Philip Zimbardo, where it started out small. So sometimes, as we think about friendships or even ourselves as person or as people, I like to think of a prank experiment or pranks. So like, the reason why I don't like pranks is because they always start small. They always start small and it's funny, ha 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 ha, and then something happens and it destroys friendships because people keep escalating things and then they don't know how to stop. And this is kind of like the experiment by Philip Zimbardo. So experiment, these people were in one room and then there's another person in another room that they couldn't see, and started saying, the person gets the wrong answer to a question that I give them, then you hit the buzzer. And right now it's just 15 votes. It's not bad, it's gonna hurt them a little bit, it's sting a little bit, but it's not gonna do anything. Well, as the experiment goes, as they lose more, the votes just goes up. So it started as a little bit of apprehension in doing it, but then thinking, oh, it's not that bad, to getting up to 200, 300 votes, which could kill someone. Luckily, the participant on the other end was just fake, so it wasn't actually being electrocuted, but But it's the things that we start as small that we allow to happen that can change who we are and what we do. And so it's important to think about these things. Social and societal and cultural factors. So imagine a situation where you're in a different country, or you're in a different part of the country, this country that you don't know, or the people that you don't know, you can be more or less likely to help. For me, like, I'm a bigger guy, so if something's happening, I bet a lot of people will be less likely to intervene because they're scared of what I might do, even though I'm pretty harmless. But that's something to think about. So think about social and cultural factors, ethnicity, international and sexual orientation, religious, social, and political beliefs. And some of that fear from stepping in could just be, I don't want someone to think I am prejudiced against X, Y, and Z group. And so that's something that could always help hinder us from intervening. Also, just like we talk about societal cultures, the next video is another warning. It's going to deal a little bit about domestic violence, but it's going to be a video where it talks about how our cultural biases that we have affects our right to intervene. So you're going to see a video, one of, and this is staged, so it's not something that's really happening, but they're staging domestic violence between a man and a woman. The first one is the man having violence against a woman and seeing if people intervene in a public space. The next video you're going to see after that will be flipped, a woman performing violence on a man and seeing people intervene. And it will show how culturally our cultural biases have a bearing on if we intervene or not.
Domestic violence is at top of mind for a lot of people because of what's going on with the NFL. Well, OCTV decided to do a social experiment. They wanted to see how people would react if they saw male on female abuse and female on male abuse.
You could tell me the truth! Why are you talking to that guy last night?
This guy gets physical with this actress that he's working with, and you can see people instantly react when they realize he's really getting physical with this girl.
You don't talk to him.
Watch what happens here. He looks like he's about to throw her into a wall.
What are you doing? Tell me. Look, you alright? Tell me your social experiment, Look.
Nobody's willing to listen to this man, even though he's trying to tell them, hey, this is just an experiment.
Just say something.
Watch what happens when the man is getting abused. See this couple fighting, they kind of don't pay attention. They think, oh, it's just a girl getting mad at her man. They said every single time, nobody intervened when the man was abused, but every single time it looked like a woman was being abused, people intervened. You think, well, a man can't get abused by a woman, but they can.
That's one of the reasons why that kind of abuse is so important, the level of shame in it, because of the reaction that people give to religious.
Social stigma.
Yeah, there's a social stigma, and I think that men who are in this situation feel shame when they shouldn't, because it's domestic violence regardless.
So one thing, just snapshot that I noticed from you guys is that when that first scene was happening, when it was male and female violence, no one laughed, no one thought anything of it. But when it was flipped, especially when someone joined in on the violence, you laughed. And so that tells me one thing, there's some personal biases for what domestic violence should look like. And so it's an opportunity for you to think, okay, am I really thinking through what this really means for me? And what does that mean? Because no one deserves to be hit, right? No one deserves to be assaulted. No one should be in spaces of physical harm by any person, regardless of gender. But we see one as more severe than the other, right? We do. When I saw the video, I had a similar response, and I had to think about that and say, okay, is that right? If I were to see this in real life, would I intervene in that situation? And I had to really think about would I do that, and I pose that to you as well. What do you think you would have done? And so we have a moment we're going to do our survey. Maybe. You can do this two ways. You can text AU411 to 37607, and it'll sign you up for the call. or you can go to polnf.com/AU401 to sign up for the poll. And I actually want you to think through, I don't want you to be aspirational in this. I actually want you to think through, like, what would I actually do in this situation? Because you need to own what you would do first before you can think about how you're going to intervene in the future. All right, it's kind of between call the police and try to intervene, which both are interventions. So I mean, calling the police is an intervention. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to calling the police saying something's going on and I'm not getting involved with it, but I'm gonna keep eyes on it until you get here. And then try to intervene and do what you can to do that. Okay, we got, is that 53%? Try to intervene, call police, that's great. Hopefully that's not aspirational, something that you would actually do, because we want you to think about what you're going to do in these types of situations. So now we're going to talk about step up. What does that mean? Go from passive to active in your interaction. So the first thing, like we saw before, those people who had to notice the event. So the people in that video that we just saw, they had to perceive, people that had to perceive that something was wrong, something is not right happening, and they had to get some eyes on that first. So that's part of that is being aware of your surroundings, that's looking for red flags. Sometimes nothing's going to be as obvious as what we just saw, but sometimes it might be, and so we just need to be obvious, observe what's happening around, and also look for other reactions. So one thing when I was in class when I was in college, and this isn't a big thing, but we had some pretty rude, disrespectful people in class. And so, it was piano class, which is the most annoying thing when people playing piano when you should be listening to the teacher. And so, me as being a freshman, I look around the class and I see the teacher seems furrowed-browed and looks a little upset and is asked, please stop. And I look around to my different classmates and I see that all of them are very annoyed, but no one's saying anything. So finally, I just say, look over to my classmates and say, you know what, you need to stop. I just need you to stop. You need to sit on your hands. You need to close the piano. Do what you need to do, but you're really disrupting everybody. And so we had to have a conversation about that. But I had to notice something was happening, and people, and it was a very subtle, low-level situation. But I had to notice that something was happening, and people were reacting to those things. And so sometimes we notice something happening, and I've done that. And you'll see, I saw something happen. So, oh, never mind, not my business, and turn it on the other way. And that's called willful blindness. That's when we choose to not notice and acknowledge the situation. And this can include Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. When we see something is happening and we choose to just scroll down or walk away or walk the other direction or just pull out our biggest thing is pulling out our phones and pretend like we're texting somebody when we know we're not and just getting past that situation. But we have to think about that. That's called willful blindness. So the first thing is notice the event. Second is interpret it as a problem. So you have to know something has to click in your brain says, okay, something's not right, and what's not right is not good. And so you have to see it's problematic, and we can't just walk into willful blindness and just walk through that problem. And then, like I said before, like look deeper and see if people are concerned. And does this situation require urgent response? So it's one of those things where I need to do something right now, or is something if I know the person, I need to pull them aside afterwards and have a conversation with them about what just happened. And then do I have the strength to take a stand? And so that's kind of a really big thing. And like I said, taking a stand and intervening can look differently. We're going to see some more examples of that. So the next one is, once I notice the event, I've interpreted it as a problem, then I need to assume some personal responsibility for that. And you have to acknowledge that if I don't step up, somebody won't. So one of the examples that I've seen someone accepting some responsibility after a situation happened. We had a bullying situation in a suite in one of our buildings, and the student was being really, the students were being really bullying the student to the point where I get a student that's in a puddle of tears in my office because she's been bullied so heavily. When we go through the communication with it, and I bring the other students in, and I have a pretty certain talk with them, and then afterwards one comes back and apologizes and takes some responsibility for not stepping up and pledges to step up in the future and says, I just didn't want this to happen to me. If I stood up to my friend, I'd be bullied as well, and so I was scared about that. But knowing the impact that happened to my friend and seeing her makes me want to, if she does this again, I'm going to step up. And she did. And she really went back and redeemed that friendship. But she had this in her own responsibility. She said, I knew that I was doing this, and I know that it was wrong, and I didn't have the power to step up, and I should have. And so we all have those moments where we know we should have stood up for someone or our friend or someone we didn't even know, and we just chose not to. It reminds me of a song by Matthew West. It's called Do Something. I made a reference a few of the lyrics from that song. It said, the thought disgusted me, so I shook my fist at heaven and said, God, why don't you do something? He said, I did. I created you. If not us, then who? If not me and you? Right now it's time for us to do something. If not now, then when? When we'll see an end to all this pain? It's not enough to do nothing. It's time for us to do something. So there may be times in your life where right now you can think of like, oh, I should have done something. So what are you going to do with that energy? What are you going to do with that thought? And are you going to use that to move yourself forward and step up in the future? Or are you going to stay silent in situations where you really need to step up? So the next video is going to talk about what does that look like? What does it look like to step up? So again, this is actually a scene from a car accident and how one person stepping up really inspire a lot of other folks to step up and take a stand. And so sometimes stepping up doesn't mean that you're going to be by yourself in that stand. It may mean that you're going to be the one that inspires everyone else to stand up as well. So like I said, if you feel like you need to walk out or anything, there is video of a car crash and then someone in the safe seat. So what that video shows is that it just took one person to get out of that car and say, oh, we got to do something. We've got to get this car moved so we can save this person. And so it helped inspire action from other folks. But they also knew how to help. They knew what the problem was and they knew how to help. And so sometimes having knowledge and skills is what you need and knowing the appropriate and most effective tools. So students, one thing is knowing what resources you have available here. So making sure that you have campus safety's numbers, making sure that you have the health center numbers, making sure you know where the hospital is, but also knowing your resources that you have right on, if you live on campus, right on your floor, knowing who your RA is, knowing who your resident director is, and even knowing where our offices in the student center may be helpful for you if you need to intervene for something. And also, telling the right person is like a really big thing. So if your friend's being bullied and you don't know how to deal with that, then telling your RA, telling your RD can be the intervention that is needed. And you don't necessarily have to go against that person that may be causing the situation that's happening. So knowing how to help is going to be really well. Knowing your resources is going to be very, very pertinent for you. And so the next video we're going to go to is it's going to be another poll. Give me a second. There we go. What would you do if you were on a subway and I'm trying to read it, and you saw two people about to get into a fight? What would you do? All right, I appreciate the honesty. So we got most move seats to get away from them, hashtag not my life. Call the police, record and post it online. I appreciate the honesty. Because you know, it's a good story, you're gonna need some likes. Put on your buzz and suddenly get really interested in reading the emergency exit signs. Hallelujah, I know where to go. And then try to distract them. So, I mean, the most I'm trying to get out of this situation because I don't fight. I run from fights, and no one's gonna get me. So I'm gonna get out of this subway. So I appreciate the honesty. And then understanding the subway, so like calling the police, what they could that do in that moment, because it's gonna be hard to get there. So I think there's some thought that's going into this. And so we actually, we have a video of this happening. Like I said, for all our videos, there's some violence in this. This is a real situation, and someone intervened. And so intervening in a very different way. Just want to make sure that the sound is off on the video. Right? Yeah. I want some too. All right, who thought that someone eating chips could de-escalate a situation? Right? I didn't think of that. Also, what's happening in the video is one guy starts saying, man, the guy that's taking the video is actually telling the guy, I'm videotaping you. I see you, bro. I see you, bro. And so, like, that was intervention. And once the guy stepped in the middle and de-escalated, other people felt more comfortable to jump in the middle of just create a physical barrier so they couldn't harm each other. Because what was really happening in the video was the lady said, quit following me. Like, why are you following me? I don't want to be around you. And the guy kept following her, which prompted her response. But, like I said, also another disclaimer, we are not asking you to eat chips in between people who are fighting. We're not asking you to do that. But we are saying that intervening can look very, very differently. I was reading a book about this thing as well. This lady, she's having this dinner party, people came over, some guy shows up to rob them and pulls a gun on her. She says, hey, we took a glass of wine, you seem like you're stressed. And guess what? He said, you know what, it's been a long day, and actually drank the wine, hang out for a little bit, got dinner, and then left and apologized for robbing them and then didn't take anything. So, intervening can look like very different things. Again, if you're being robbed, don't offer them wine. A, because you're AU, you're not supposed to have alcohol. B, maybe not the best way to go, but we say that just to say, it's important for you to think that intervening doesn't always mean what we think it means. Doesn't mean going up to that bully and saying, hey, stop bullying so-and-so. It can look very differently. So that's something that's very important. Final stage is just stepping up, implementing the help, lending a hand, and doing what you can in regards to your safety to do the right thing. And so that's the biggest thing. And so that means weighing cost benefits like we talked about throughout this presentation. It means, will I lose Facebook group and how do I deal with that? What if your own situation really isn't a problem? What if no one backs you up? And I think that's the hardest thing, taking a stand and then no one backing you up. You've seen Jerry Maguire, this guy has this like epiphany when he goes to work and says it to everybody, and literally no one's like, we don't know what you're talking about, and like, I'm gonna go back to my work. Everyone's kind of scared of that, except for one person. They fall in love, that doesn't really happen in real life. But everyone is scared that when they step up, no one's gonna back them up, and so they're gonna be alone on an island, and they're gonna lose friendships, and they're gonna lose faith with their group, and that's scary. That's why some people don't step up. And then sometimes fear. This person that I may be stepping up against may have power, may have authority. And maybe it may be perceived, it may be seen in the friend group or on campus, or maybe something that has some actual authority in an institution where they're working. And so you have to understand the costs and the benefits of that. But then you have to ask yourself, what will happen if I don't do something? What will happen if I don't step up? Often it's just like nothing might happen and it might be okay, and that might be an isolated incident. But it also could be someone who could be physically or emotionally injured. Problems could keep getting worse, and then it could result in some physical things that are happening. And so those are the kind of the 5 stages that we have when we think about this. We have to notice it, we have to interpret it as a problem. We got to assume some responsibility, and we have to know how to help so that we can step up and do the right thing. And the best part about this is that because you attended this training and because you're a part of this, simply understanding bystander intervention makes you more likely to step up in the future. So simply you being here, so give yourself a pat on the back and say, that I might step up. Say it, I might step up. Okay, now we both say, I will step up. I need to do my same inflection. I will step up. All right, I hope that's true for y'all. And then the reason why we intervene is because it's the right thing to do. And sometimes that has to win out on all out of our fears. And like I talk about this a lot, we have to win out, like, doing the right thing. I need y'all to just come together for a few more moments, we're almost done. Stepping up is the right thing to do. Sometimes someone needs us, and we have to step up. And we have to understand why we don't want to, but then we really have to follow through on why we should. And so that's the biggest thing about step up. And kind of on everybody, you all make a difference in the lives of your friends, lives of strangers, in the lives of your sphere of influence. So you have personal responsibility and authority in that. And so we hope that you, if you're encountering these situations, whether it's online, whether it's in person, whether it's bullying, whether it's assault or harassment, we hope that you'll step up and do the right thing in the situation. Somebody needs you. Thank you so much for being here. I think there's one more thing.